Well, hello and welcome. My name is Mark Epner. I'm a Chicago-based pilot with over half of my 2,000 plus hours in a Cirrus SR-22. Currently, I fly this 2011 normally aspirated G3, but also fly other aircraft when the opportunity presents itself. I love flying every bit as much as you do and look for ways to share that common bond through multiple paths, including this channel, as well as Simple Flight Radio, which you can find at simpleflight.net. My goal for the channel is to share my passion for aviation with others that share that same sentiment and do so with an eye towards proficiency, safety, and fun. Well, I hope you saw my last video about expanding your comfort zone to make more go decisions rather than succumbing to the easier no-go decision. If not, the basic premise was that as long as you study to learn all that you can about your airplane systems, weather, emergency procedures, etc., as well as practice to become a very proficient pilot, then you should feel comfortable and confident about flying into conditions that normally kept you out of the sky. That is, as long as you have and know you're out. But what we didn't talk about is cockpit complacency. The go, no-go decision is not just about risk factors you briefed on the pre-flight. And it's not just about adverse or emergency conditions that you may encounter en route. It can also be about factors that are well within normal limits but are telling you a different story when considered in the context of a specific flight. I was reminded of such a flight I took in February 2021 that serves as a good example of that. So let's go back to that flight and see what happened.
Okay. Let me get my ATIS, flip-flop that in, COM2.
Sky clear. 2.2, altimeter 3005.
3005.
Runway 16 in use. Landing and departing runways 16 and 24.
16 and 24.
Notice airman, runway 16 EMAS, reduced performance. Taxiway Bravo, hold short sign at runway 24, missing. Hazardous weather information available, flight service frequencies. All runways 20% wet as of 1526 Zulu. Advise, under contact, you have information, Yankee.
All right, I'll listen it one more time. I always listen twice. I'm checking trim. I've got executive ground Cirrus 973 Sierra Delta Hangar 5 with information Yankee ready. Taxi VFR Northwest, please.
Cirrus 973 Delta Mike. Ground runway 16 via Delta Yankee Lima, cross 12.
16 Delta Yankee Lima, cross 12, and it's 973 Sierra Delta. Okay, left brake, right ball, left track, right brake, right turn, left ball. Actually, I'll need to do that again. Checking clear right, clear left, left on Delta. Okay, and there's the ball sliding way out to the right as we expect, and the turn straight to the left, heading 300 and just about 300 on the compass, a couple degrees off as expected. Clear left, clear right on Yankee. We're pulling a little left, and that makes sense because the wind coming from to the left side is hitting the, here's a right turn, and the ball slides to the left, and the turn rate goes to the right. So when the wind hits the tail, in the back, it forces the nose into the wind on our cast-ring nose wheel here, and so you can always tell where the wind's coming from based on the taxi, as long as you've got everything else figured out, tightened and all. Okay, we are clear left, we're clear right, we are cleared to cross runway 12 at Yankee. With the Cirrus, especially older ones, this is a 2011, but before the Behringer brakes, you didn't want to ride the brakes, they overheat. So you just tap them and you give full rudder, like I've got full right rudder, it's starting to come left, tap the brake, bring it back even, keep it in, and don't ride the brakes. Much easier to use the brakes on stopping on the runway than the long, slow, hot taxis, if you will. cant ourselves like this, so anyone that comes behind will not get our prop wash. There goes Carl. So I'll follow up and move up so that a little bit of a cant. Okay. We're going to go into our checklist and where we left off with ready for the power level. I'm going to go into the engine page. Tap on the brakes or hold the brakes, full mixture. And we're on both mags, so I'm going to go ahead and go to 1700 RPM, keep my head out the window, make sure we're not moving. I've seen people not realize that they move forward. There's 1690, back over to right, down to 1660. All EGC's up, back to 1700 now. 1640, so 20 difference, all EGT's up, and now all EGT's down. Pretty even. We've got good oil pressure, good oil temperature, fuel flows. Everything looks good. Pitot heat, make sure our alternator 2 amps goes up. Landing light, make sure number 1 goes up. There we go, and back down to 1000 RPM. Executive Tower, Cirrus 973 Sierra Delta, holding short of 16 at Lima, ready to go VFR Northwest.
Cirrus 973 Sierra Delta Tower, Cessna left downwind, turn right northwest, runway 16, clear for takeoff.
Right to the northwest, clear for takeoff 163 Sierra Delta. Okay. Got the aircraft in downwind. Left is clear, right is clear, landing light coming on, I was cleared for takeoff. Runway is clear, and I am cleared. Smooth on the, both full forward. Fingers around the flap switch. Everything remains green. And there's 70 to 73, start pulling back. And up she comes. Right rudder, yaw damper coming on because I'm lazy. Go a little bit higher, get some speed or get some altitude underneath us. 90 knots, flaps up. You can see all the traffic maybe. Right. About 500 feet, let's go into a right turn. Declutter all the city name. 600, caps and flaps. Got my heading at 320. Push heading here, I'm using only the flight director, not the autopilot. So you can see in Chicago, a lot of traffic. Let's climb up a little bit. I'm going to select my altitude at 3,500. Then push IAS. And then I'm going to use this wheel to change my speed at which I climb to like 130 knots. Oil temperature up to 200. I'm going to watch that a little bit. It's still on the green.
Turn right northwest, runway 16, clear for takeoff.
You know what? I am going to go back. I'm not liking the oil temperature is up 200, well within the green, normal. Oil is 39 psi, normal, but it's not normal for this airplane. The 200 doesn't bother me as much as the 39. Normally on the first start it's up in the 50s, so it's a good 10 to 15 psi lower than what we're used to seeing over 5 years. Right. So I'm going to go to my flight plan. I'm going to use this knob, the hat switch if you will, and put the dotted line box around Pewaukee, hit direct, enter, enter. And then I'm going to hit Madison, highlight it, clear, remove Madison. Now this is going to send me back. So that's one of the questions, you know, we deal with, go, no go, and that's not only a decision when you're taking off. You know, is the weather right? Is the airplane right? Am I right? All of that. Once you take off, you're still in that go, no go every second of the flight. And I'm very safe right now with green oil pressure and green oil temperature.
Thank you very much.
But it's different than we're used to. And I just would rather be near my home airport at this point and live to fly again, you know, that's the saying, or just don't want to get stuck somewhere else too should I have a problem. So let's check this out. And probably nothing, but I would rather know that before I start going cross country.
Cessna 70 Alpha, your number 2, you're going to follow Cessna currently at your 10 to 11 o'clock and a mile and a half, joining the final 1,200 feet. Runway 16, clear to land.
Clear to land number 2, we're looking for the traffic.
CHTs are fine, 340 or below. Actually, 420 or below, some would tell you. Cirrus usually says 380 or below. This is a normally aspirated.
Westbound for a mile.
So we are at 340, which is kind of a number I use. And if I went Lena Peak, which we don't really do much anymore, and we certainly don't do it in the winter because then my cylinder head temps are too cold during this winter time.
Cessna from Delta, just reduce the approach speed. You're following a Cessna 2 miles southeast of you, 1,700 feet.
Executive Tower, Cirrus 973 Sierra Delta, 13 to the northwest, landing with Yankee.
Cirrus 973 Sierra Delta, tower continuing bound for runway 16. There's a Cessna currently at your 2 o'clock and 4 miles will follow you, 1,900 feet indicated.
Okay, looking, negative visual.
Cessna 715, just fly northbound and I'll call your turn back in. Plan on following a Cirrus currently at your 9 to 10 o'clock and 3 miles at 2,800 feet.
Okay, we'll fly northbound and wait for that call to turn back in. 715.
That's 6 Lima Sierra, the Cessna's off the left.
Okay,
now,
fuel pump,
1,600
brakes,
feet.
landing light is coming on.
Site, 6 Lima Sierra.
That's 6 Lima
Switch
Sierra,
tanks.
16, clear for the option. Number 2, eastbound departures approved.
I'm going to go ahead and motor procedure in.
Eastbound departure approved, 6 Lima Sierra.
Executive Tower, Cirrus 8402 Foxtrot, holding short 16, IFR.
Cirrus 8402 Foxtrot Tower, working on the release.
Thanks.
Cessna and Golf, Kilo 3 Kilo, back to runway 16.
Procedure, flight approach, RNAV 16, vectors,
Cessna 9 Uniform Delta, safe parking.
activate. Okay, full rich, mixture, fuel tank on the right one, gas undercarriage mixture prop.
Cirrus 3 Sierra Delta, there'll be a Cirrus holding prior to arrival.
3 Sierra Delta, roger. All right, let's pull our power back to 17 inches, which should be about 35%. I don't use the percent, I guess it's 33. Lining up with the runway. And now down to 14 inches, which I guess is probably 25%. There's my glide slope. I'm gonna bring it back now to 12 inches. Normally we do 11 inches, but.
Cessna 90 from Delta, Kilo 3 Kilo, back to runway 16.
Kilo 3 Kilo to 16, 90 from Delta.
143 knots over the ground right here.
Cirrus 3 Sierra Delta, reduce final approach speed.
Reducing speed, 3 Sierra Delta. And he wants me slower. I'm going to hold my altitude to bring my power back.
002 Fox, runway 16, line of weight, ready to go. Cirrus 3 mile final, and the Cessna on the go will be eastbound.
Line up and wait, 02 Fox.
There's 119 knots, first notch of flaps, point the nose down now.
On the surface, this may seem like a flight with much ado about nothing, and maybe that's the point. I enjoy the complexities of all things aviation. It really doesn't detract from my love of flying, but rather adds to it. So it's in that spirit that my normal scan is to keep attuned to all engine instrument indications. That includes pressures, temps, levels, and other things. I also note those when I'm a passenger in someone else's airplane. And one thing I've learned is that what's normal in someone else's airplane may not be normal for mine, even if it's the same manufacturer. The only time I've seen 200-degree oil temps in any of the SR-22s I've flown is being on the ground on a hot day waiting for my takeoff clearance. Similarly, my oil pressures in the 30s really only happen after I've been on a long flight, hot temperatures, and when I get to low power settings like you'd see on the ground. So in this flight, when the oil temp hit 200 degrees with 39 psi at cruise flight, my spidey sense kicked in, only to tell me that this was one of those go, no-go decision points. What's interesting in this case is that everything was in the green. I know pilots that I respect very much that would have said green means go, and I'm not going to argue that. For me, on this flight, I turned around. But what the important thing is that it's not about which is the right decision or wrong decision, but rather the fact that a decision needed to be made proactively.
Cirrus 3 Sierra Delta, Lima 3, Yankee Delta, cross runway 12, remain my frequency.
Lima 3, Yankee Delta, Hangar 5 with you, 3 Sierra Delta.
As always, I'm interested in your comments, so please leave them below. And while you're at it, hit the subscribe button and the notification bell to join me on future
Tower
flights.
for 3 Sierra Delta, I know I heard it, but I don't believe I repeated it. We're cleared to cross 12 at Yankee, correct?
Cirrus 3 Sierra Delta, thanks for asking. Yeah, cross runway 12 to join Delta.
12 to cross 12 to join Delta, thank you.
Happy birthday, Mark.
Very nice, thank you.
Thanks for flying with me today, and until next time, blue skies and tailwinds.